If the Eagles change their mindset about this one position, it could change this entire offense.
Dallas still stinks.
Yo, by the way, Kick Dingbat here. So the Combine is getting underway, and I can't wait to see who the Eagles are going to talk to, who they're going to scout. And I got to tell you, this is the perfect time, the draft, to find a position that has been, my opinion, far overlooked and underestimated by the Eagles. But they can fill this one position. They could change the way we perceive this offense and the way this offense functions. Now, before we get too much into it, I know you're going, what the hell are you talking about, 500? I'm going to explain it, and I'm going to tell you something that nobody else ever talks about, but I can't let it go, all right? But before we get into it, first off, have you heard about the rumors about Tanner Mckee? That's right, Tanner Mckee. Will he get traded? Will he stay? My thoughts are this. If you could get a mid-round pick, like a second or a third pick specifically, then I would go ahead and move him because he's a free agent after next year, and you don't want to lose him for nothing. If we're talking fifth, sixth round picks, then I have no interest in moving him. But here's one of the rumors. The Jets have interest in trading for quarterback Tanner Mckee, according to @TonyPauline. Quote, yet people in the league tell me if general manager Darren Mckee gets his way, the Jets will look to bring in less expensive signal callers. And two names to keep entering the conversation, Tanner Mckee and Davis Mills. Now, what would the Eagles get for Tanner Mckee? That's the question. And also, do you really want to send Tanner Mckee to hell? I mean, that's where careers go to die. When's the last time they've had a good quarterback in New York? Like, drafted one, even Sam Darnold goes to the Jets, bombs, goes somewhere else, journeys around a little bit, and then figures it out and wins a Super Bowl. I don't know if I would want to send Tanner Mckee to the Jets, but it really just depends what they're offering. They don't have a third-round pick because we have it. They want to give us a second-round pick. I would definitely do it. Could they get that much for Tanner Mckee? I don't know that they could. I don't know that they could. But my thoughts on Tanner Mckee really are, if you can get second or third round pick, do it. If not, you might as well keep him. That's kind of how I see it. Also, the Eagles today are talking with Dallas Goedert's representation in hopes to get a deal done. Wouldn't it be nice to bring Dallas Goedert and keep him one more year? I thought he had a great year. Now, it's Dallas Goedert. He's going to miss so many games a year. That happens. But this would be a great situation where if you could get Dallas Goedert back, right, get him back, and then still go out and get yourself a tight end, kind of like they did when they had Zach Ertz. Report, the Eagles will meet tight end Dallas Goedert's agent at the Combine in hopes of hammering out a deal to keep him in Philly, per Howie Roseman. Howie talked a little bit about would love to have him back and stuff like that. Whether that's possible, I don't know. But I'm telling you, like, tight end is going to be one of those positions at the Combine I'm really interested in, because if a tight end, if we're picking at 23 and there's actually a tight end that actually can play and be a first-round type pick, take him. Even if you have Dallas Goedert one more year, take him. You know, tight end, offensive line, to me, are keys in this draft. You got to replenish them. You know, and it's funny because you listen into a lot of different people's perspective of Howie Roseman's press conference, and there was an article in Bleeding Green Nation where they talked a little bit about Howie Roseman sounded like this. They said Howie Roseman sounds like a general manager who is prepared to get rated in free agency. Howie Roseman getting rated. I don't know. I don't know that I necessarily believe that. But, you know, Howie did talk about the fact that, hey, you can't keep everybody. We can't have the splash that we had in previous years of free agency. because we have so many young guys we got to resign. This is the downside, I guess, to drafting really well. You've got a lot of players that you have to resign. Jordan Davis needs a contract extension. Jalen Carter's going to need a contract extension. You're going to need to extend Quinyon Mitchell in a few years. Cooper DeJean, you're going to have to re-sign before you go out and you sign Q, because he's a second-round pick. He doesn't got that option year. Okay? Then you have, it looks like Nakobe Dean may be the guy on the way out. You'll have Jalix Hunt. He'll come around eventually. And then you got to make a decision about Nolan Smith. There's two ways to look at Nolan Smith. One, you can look at Nolan Smith and say, listen, he had a down year. He hasn't lived up to expectations yet, but he's shown flashes, right? I think the playoff run that the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I thought he showed great flashes. Can he stay healthy, and can he become consistent? If you believe that, you sign him to an extension now, you'll probably get him at a bargain. Otherwise, you have to wait. And I think a lot of that's going to depend on what they do with Jalen Phillips. Jalen Phillips would be their splash. And I'm literally okay with this. I literally love where we're at, because we are drafting well. And that's going to have to continue. That's the key, right? Get offensive line healthy for next year, but long term, you got to keep drafting well. Howie's done a great job. I don't know what I just did to the thing, but anyways, you know, I think there are more ways to go about, you know, building a team than just having to go out and have splashes all the time. If you draft real well, you put yourself in a position long term. Now, the Eagles, they're going to, next few years, you know, I think last year, I think this year, yeah, they're going to sign a lot of guys, but at some point, it's going to free up a lot of money. And it's probably going to free it up for the defense to make money, and then you're going to see more young offensive players. That's kind of how it's going to go, okay? And when I look at the offense and I look at, okay, how can we be better? Sure, you got to keep A.J.Brown, get offensive line healthy, all that. But there's one simple way, and I talked about this at the intro. There's one simple way to make this offense better, okay? One simple way. Just think about this. Close your eyes and imagine, you know, last year. How many games did I stream every Thursday, Monday night, Sunday night? And I would say the same thing in these games. I say, why does it look like teams get the ball and they go 1-2 plays and they're in field goal range? The kickers are getting juice balls now and they're kicking much further, but also you're starting at the 35-yard line. So the Eagles, to me, one of the big mistakes that they made last year, and they've made this over several years, is they don't put enough emphasis on a returner. The Eagles, they could get 4 or 5 first downs, and they're at midfield because their starting field position is horrible. It's horrible. It was one of the worst in the league. I think the Eagles' average starting position was the 27-yard line. And that was shocking to me because it seemed like it was a lot less than it. It always seemed like to me the Eagles are starting at their 12, 15, somewhere around there. And then, it's like 3, 4 first downs and you're in midfield. So when you have that bad starting field position, right, and you got to get 3, 4, 5 first downs, you know what? The chances are the more plays you run, and having to go further downfield, the more chances you're going to have penalties, things like that. Too many times we watch teams that get like one pass over the middle, they're at the 50, next play, they're at the 45, 42-yard line, and they're already in field goal range. It's like the Eagles really can make this offense a lot better if you cut their field in half. Like, seriously, the average starting field position, I believe, was the 31-yard line last year. 4 yards don't sound like a lot, but it is, okay, especially on average. Too many times you watch teams. 1-2 passes, they're in field goal range, okay? The Eagles, they got to get 2, 3 first downs just to get to midfield. So they've got to, in my opinion, go out and get better on special teams. Get better in the return game, okay? I really think that. I don't think Britton Covey is going to cut it. I don't think Will Shipley is going to cut it, look at Seattle, for example. They go out and they get Rashid Shaheed in a trade. He made a huge difference for that team. Any Seattle Seahawk will tell you that. He averaged what? Kickoff returns was like 28.5 yards a return. He's dangerous. He's a weapon. And oh, by the way, He's a free agent, okay? If I was the Eagles, I would use money to go out and get him. I don't think it's going to cost you an arm and a leg to go out and get yourself a good returner, okay? But it could have huge advantage. If the Eagles can increase their starting field position and get to the point where they get 2-3 first downs and they're in field goal range, then you know what? It's going to be a lot easier, and it's going to make your offense look tremendously better. Okay, when you have to get 3-4 first downs just to get to midfield, chances are you're probably not going to have a sustained drive, especially when you then get a holding call or something like that. These teams go 1-2 plays. Every game I'm sitting there screaming, 2 plays, they're in field goal range. And then it's like, they get a penalty, they're still in field goal range. So to me, you've got to do better with your starting field position. You've got to do better on special teams in the return and the punt game. If the Eagles can invest a little bit in that, they can help their offense a lot just by doing that, because their starting field position, I can't even believe it was a 27-yard line. It was putrid. It was putrid. So we'll see how that goes and what the Eagles do. Reminder, we'll be live tomorrow. Shakedown will be back. We will be streaming some of the combine, and that should be a lot of fun. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision, baby. We're all just living in it. All right, so as far as the combine goes tomorrow, here's what they got going on. Thursday, I believe you have your defensive linemen, linebackers, and place kickers will be doing drills. So I think defensive linemen will be interesting. The Eagles, I don't think, need linebackers, but they do need pass rushers. So that's going to be interesting. Friday, you have tight ends and defensive backs. This is a huge day. This should be a long day for me streaming, because tight ends, very important. Cornerback, very important. Howie said that they want to keep DeJean in the slot. Therefore, you need another corner. Would they draft a guy? That's a great question. So that's a big day. Then Saturday, you have quarterbacks, wide receivers, and running backs. I think this is big too, because I think you could use another receiver, and I would really consider drafting a running back in the mid rounds. And then on Sunday, March 1st, we have the offensive linemen. To me, watching the offensive linemen run drills in the 40s not as really that important, but we'll still be live for that for a little bit anyways. With that said, Denzel Washington, out.
That's all, folks.
The brother screwed us.